And now I have the privilege to welcome an extraordinary woman whose journey embodies the very essence of resilience, determination, and triumph. Chaunté Lowe, an Olympic champion and a champion of empowerment. Chaunté's story is not just one of athletic prowess, but also of unwavering dedication and overcoming adversity. From humble beginnings to standing on the world's sporting stage, Chaunté has truly defied expectations, shattered barriers with tenacity, and embraced the philosophy that no challenge is too daunting when fueled by passion and determination. Please join me in extending a very warm welcome to Chaunté Lowe.
Please welcome Olympic world champion medalist, American record holder, and member of the President's Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition, Chaunté Lowe.
How are you guys doing this morning? Can you guys hear me? Yes. All right, I am so incredibly honored to be able to be here with all of you guys today. And when I was leaving, I was telling my children, do you know where I'm going today? They're like, no. I was like, I'm going to talk to the people that care so much about everyone else in the world, and I get to be able to share our story with them. And so I'm so incredibly excited to be here today. I literally just got off the Uber. I had no idea it was gonna take 2 hours to get here from the airport, but I'm incredibly excited. So I'm gonna start by sharing my Olympic story with you guys. Then I'm gonna illustrate the importance of the work that you guys do in the lives of people that are out in the world trying to emulate the example that you guys have set. And yeah, so I'm a storyteller. Do you guys mind if I tell you some stories? Okay. Is it all right if I tell you some stories? It was a cold, dark night. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I want you to imagine with me, okay? Imagine witnessing a moment so monumental that it completely changes the entire trajectory of your life. Well, that's exactly what happened to me when I was 4 years old. I'm watching the Olympics for the very first time, and I see this woman on my screen by the name of Flojo. How many of you guys know who Flojo is? Almost everybody? I like it. Well, Flojo is the 1 in 200 meter world record holder. She set those records back in the 80s and still holds them till today. So I see this woman with her long, gorgeous hair, her beautiful nails, and the muscles in her legs allowing me to see for the first time that strength is gorgeous. She gets down in her starting blocks. The starter shoots his gun, and she barrels down the track so fast that she makes the other women look like they're standing still. When she crosses the finish line, they place a gold medal around her neck, and then they play her national anthem for the entire world to hear. Now, at that moment, I was a 4-year-old child. I was hooked, but I didn't know that that moment was gonna put me on the path for what the rest of my life would be. And inspired, I go and I talk to my mom, and I say, Mom, how can I become an Olympian? And she tells me that it's gonna take hard work and perseverance. I was 4. I didn't want to hear anything about hard work and perseverance. But as time went on, I learned that it was my mother's advice that would be right. See, it would take hard work and perseverance. And perseverance meant no matter how hard or how long, you never stop short of the goal. Shortly after that inspiration, my mother fell in love with my stepfather and they got married. But he was in love with alcohol. And when he drank, he would beat my mom. One day he beat my mother so bad that he hit her in the back of the head with a bottle and he cracked the base of her skull. He ended up going to jail, but my mother spiraled into a deep depression. She missed work and ended up losing her job. At its worst, we ended up homeless. At that moment, at the age of 9, I felt like I have to give up on this dream. Forget the inspiration. I have to find a way to help my mom. And there's no way, I don't have the right to have this dream. But I had a grandmother who could see outside of my situation, see outside of what was going on in my home. And she knew that it was important to inject me with hope. She needed me to see that there was a world outside of my current circumstances, that there were people that would advocate for me. And so my grandmother picked me up, she took me to a football game, and she allowed me to watch other athletes that were getting college scholarships. And she grabbed me by the hands and she said, Chaunté, the life that you are living right now does not necessarily dictate the life that you have to live in the future. At that moment, I made a decision. Either I can continue to give up hope, or I could choose to purposely see hope even in the midst of the darkest time in my life, knowing that people like my grandmother were advocating for me, knowing that there were people that could see outside of the situation and knew that it was important for me to hope forward towards my future. And so at that moment, I decided hope. I started training as much as I could. How many of you guys like stadium stairs and burpees? Anybody in here? Okay, just this guy right here. And so I started training and getting ready for what I knew would be my Olympic moment. But every opportunity that I had to train, I would think about that being a step closer to saying goodbye to a life of poverty. And I knew that the Olympic trials was going to be the first time where my preparation would meet my opportunity. But even in the midst of that hope, I still needed to be fed. I still needed to be fueled. I remember the days that we would go to the food bank. And it was an embarrassing moment for me as a child to go there. But when we went inside, we would have to wait for hours sitting on the floor, maybe just 2 chairs for us, our family of 4. And I remember we would go and shop the shelves, and it was a small local place, but I remember getting moldy donuts and cornmeal with worms in it that we would have to pick out so that we could make cornbread. And I remember feeling hopeless, that even though I had this hope that maybe it wasn't going to be able to be possible because I did not have basic access to nutrition. We ended up moving to the poorer side of town, which ended up being a blessing because there was this recreation center. And when we would go to this recreation center, there was a lady there who took it upon herself to get donations for food. No questions asked, you just get in line and she would allow us to eat. I was able to be fueled and I was able to continue that training. I ended up getting a full ride scholarship to go to the best school in the entire world, Georgia Tech. Oh, okay. But when I ended up going to school, my sophomore year, I had my first opportunity to try out for the Olympic Games. I would love to tell you that I went there and I looked gorgeous and beautiful. I was ready. I was 3,000 miles away from my sisters. My hair was messed up. My eyes were all messed up. I looked horrible, but it didn't matter what I looked like on the outside. What mattered is that I remembered those moments of being homeless, being fueled by my why, and I knew that this was the moment where my preparation was going to meet my opportunity. So I tried out for my first Olympic team, and I ended up making that team and going to Athens, Greece. I didn't go and get a gold medal. I walked away with 28th place, but still I kept trying. I kept hoping forward towards something better. 4 years later, I tried again. Went to the Olympic Games, walked away with 6th. Then I quit and never jumped again. Thank you so much. Did I quit? No. Did I give up? No. Instead, I did it again 4 years later. I tried out for another Olympic team. I got to compete in London in 2012. I ended up getting 7th. Did not quit. 4 years later, I did it again. Did I forget to mention I did this all while having 3 babies in between? So now in 2016, as a mother of 3, I get the opportunity to compete in the Rio Olympic Games. And when I went to Rio, I got the opportunity, and I took the opportunity to go to the favelas. Now I'm probably saying that wrong. And seeing that even though that life of poverty was so far behind me, there are still people in the world that are experiencing what I did growing up. I went to the 2016 Olympic Games and I ended up getting 4th. But at that moment, I realized that I already had my 3 gold medals. And they were my children, Aurora, Mario, and Jasmine. I realized that the thing that I had been chasing all these years that I could wear around my neck was the value of life. That's what was important to me. And I knew that I could finally walk away from sports forever. But one thing that I did throughout my whole entire athletic journey is never once did I decide to take the shortcut or cheat. I knew that I would do it with integrity. And integrity means no matter how hard or how long, you never stop short of the goal. The work that you guys do is tireless. It is hard. Sometimes you feel like it's taking forever and you want to stop and you want to give up, but instead, you're driven by your why, the people that will be impacted by the work you do at the end, and you know that it is too important to stop. So even when you're in the middle of the turbulent storms, you keep dredging forward. I needed an advocate like you guys to see the issues that I was having, that I would encounter as I was going to my journey to realize the value of life, but I needed somebody to step in. Well, the same metaphor reigned true through my athletic journey. Even though I competed at 4 Olympic Games that did not achieve a medal, there were people that were advocating for me. They were advocating to make sure that our sport was fair. And they made a rule that every single athletic DNA sample would be kept for 8 years, just in case somebody was cheating and the test could find a way to catch cheaters. Well, in 2016, 8 years after I had competed in the 2008 Olympics, I got a call. When I had placed 6th and was jumping in the rain with a nursing 1-year-old baby at home and placed 6th, 3 of the women who placed in front of me had cheated. I know, right? The advocates that knew the trials that I would face in sports, that made sure that they did their job before I even know that I needed it, allowed one of the greatest moments to happen in my life. They took me, my 3 children, and my husband, and flew me to Los Angeles and awarded me with this medal right here. This is the power of the work that you do. You advocate for others when they are not able to advocate for themselves. You see the problems that they may face and you find solutions before they even face that problem in their life. You guys are so vitally important, and it is my honor to be able to stand up here and thank you for all that you do. That's my time. Thank you so much.